I had no plans at all of replacing my current bench until I tested this one. This looks like a bench, but it might just secretly be the Swiss Army knife of home gyms. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Freak Athlete ABX. And as a quick note, this is a pre-production model. Since I have been sent this for testing, there have already been several changes made to it, and there are several changes that are currently being made to it, and I will point out those changes along the way. And also, by the time you're checking out this video, this is available for pre-order, and I have been told that there's a limited quantity for the first batch, so if you're interested in checking this out, you might want to do that pretty quickly. Use the affiliate link down in the description, and then it helps out the channel so that we can purchase more things to review for you guys at no additional charge to you. The overall length of this bench from longest point to longest point is 50.5 inches. The seat pad is 13.5 inches. The back pad is 23 inches. And the head pad is 13.5 inches. The angles are flat, 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, and 85. The pad thickness on this pre-production model is 50 millimeters. They are changing that. It's gonna be 60 millimeters. And also, currently, this bench is 16.5 inches off the floor to the top of the pad. That is also going to be changed to where it is 17 inches to the top of the pad to be more in line with common powerlifting benches. The vinyl feels really nice. It's very grippy, and with me benching and powerlifting, I use a lot of leg drive and I'm pushing back a lot, and I have not slid even a little bit when using this for flat benching. And then you'll also, of course, notice the separate head pad section. And so this, if we raise it all the way up, you just simply pull the pin, drop it down, and then it turns into a half back bench for overhead pressing and tricep extensions. And then you can also put this at 3 different angles that you can use as a chest support for chest supported rows or rear delt flies, preacher curls, other various exercises. And as a little bit of a hack, you can slot it into these 3 settings, or if you pull it out and then put the pin in and let it down on top, you actually kind of unlock 3 additional settings. It's not intended to be used that way, but it does allow for 6 different angles instead of 3 different angles when using the chest pad. I know there are several benches like this one on the market already. However, Freak Athlete actually holds the patent for this design, and there's just some other companies who have taken that design anyway and come to market first, whereas Freak Athlete sat on this for a while because they really wanted to make sure that they got it just right. And if we come in here and take a close look at it, you'll see that this mechanism is very, very beefy. That is some very thick metal that we have underneath for support, and this pin runs the full length and is supported on both sides, whereas a lot of other models that copy this bench, they either have thinner metal brackets or even just have a pop pin on one side, and so only one side is supported, not both sides. So this thing is built like a tank and is gonna be able to stand up to a whole lot of weight when you're doing rows off of this chest pad. Now, one thing I do wanna point out here, when you're using this for dumbbell chest supported rows, you can face either way. You can face this way on the bench, or what I personally like to do is you can put your knees up on the bench, and then you can lean them this way and use it for rows this way. Now, either way you go about it, you will hit this at the bottom of the rep when you're doing dumbbells. This isn't the fault of poor design by Freak Athlete's part. Every bench of this style, you're gonna run into the same issue just because of physics. Hey, guess what? There has to be a support here to support the bench, which means there's gonna be some sort of railing system right here. And there's always gonna be something there with any sort of bench. So when you're at the bottom of a rep, the head of the dumbbell is gonna hit. It's not terribly annoying, but it is worth knowing, and I have to point it out. And because there is a folding head pad, that means of course there is gonna be a crack here. And if you are concerned about benching, flat benching, you're probably asking how annoying is it if your shoulders hit that crack? And the good thing is you'll see that they've done a good job of making it really tight. I've seen benches like this where you can literally see daylight coming through here, or they have like a big bevel right here, whereas this one has kind of a minimal bevel. It's nice and tight, and so you can definitely tell that there is a crack there, but honestly, it's not too bad at all. And I'm someone who is kind of particular about my bench setup. So if I say it's not too bad, then you're probably also gonna think it's not too bad. And by the way, if you're enjoying this video, consider subscribing so you can see more content like this. Now here is a really cool aspect of the bench. They have a patented automatic zero gap system on the seat pads. So no matter what the angle is, it pulls itself in. You don't need an extra step like with the rep series where you have to pop the pin and slide it, or untwist a knob and slide it on a rail and twist it back, or anything like that. This thing is pretty cool. And then if you see when I move this up, you can see it automatically slides itself out as I raise the bench up, or when I let it back down, it slides itself back in. So no matter what setting you're at, you don't have a gap there. And the automatic nature of it is the part that makes it particularly cool, because myself, as someone who previously considered purchasing the original AB 5000 zero gap by rep, but ultimately ended up not buying it because it seemed a little bit finicky to me, and just one extra step where you have to loosen it, slide it, tighten it back up, or pop a pin, slide it, pop it back in. It's just one extra step that I didn't want to deal with. So this is really exciting to me. One thing you'll notice is that this model does not go up very high. And I don't know exactly what the number is because there's no numbers on this model. And I told Yogi that I wasn't a fan of that, and he already is addressing both of these issues. So on the full production model, one, there will be numbers, and two, I think this is 20 or 25 degrees is the maximum angle currently. That's gonna come all the way up to 40 degrees on the full production model. So I'm very happy about those. Future Ryan here. I got an update from the Freak Athlete team. They sent me a couple of video clips with the updated bench. You can see they replaced the system under the seat here with this bearing system, which should fix any issues with stability. And also you can see that they've changed out this mechanism here, and you can see here it's in that 40-degree position that I had just mentioned. And also in this clip you can see the handle for when you're doing lying hamstring curls. They changed the angle of this handle at my request. Previously it was kind of like this, and so when you're lying down doing hamstring curls, your wrists were kind of like that, whereas now when your body is here and then your arm is coming down here, and then your hand holding on. Man, this is top-notch artwork right here. Boom, look at that beautiful hand. You can see it's a much more natural position for your arm when you're doing the hamstring curls there. And also you can see they put the logo here. They've got the changing color for the nameplate, so that looks pretty slick. And then you can see how much easier it is to see the numbering, and then you can see dip, you can see sit up, and then this isn't a great quality video, but then you have I believe this is, yeah, LD, leg developer. And so you can see the different positions that you need to put it in for the different attachments. So a bunch of different clips that we're showing here. I think he's showing off the handle in this clip. Yeah, you can see where he shows off that mechanism. So just wanted to give you an update on the bench. Another thing that I'm very excited about with this bench is every handle on this bench is knurled. So Coop would definitely approve. And this thing is extremely easy to maneuver around the gym because one, it has a low handle instead of a handle that is mounted to the seat. And then also the wheels engage very quickly. You only have to pull about 2 inches off the ground and you can see it's already rolling around. It doesn't feel very heavy in the hand. And there are wheel guards on there because safety is important too. And I think it's pretty cool that these kind of look like a Cybertruck in my opinion. So it's very easy to maneuver around, and there is vertical storage option with this bench, and nice little Freak Athlete logo on here. And as a quick note, this is a quick 3D printed prototype version. It's gonna look a lot cleaner than this, I'm told, on the full production model. But cool little thing that I've noticed they do with all of their equipment is putting that bottom foot logo on there. And also, there's no plastic end caps anywhere on the main frame of this bench. They have angled welded end caps on here, which I find interesting because even the Rogue Manta Ray, which clocks in at $1,200, has plastic caps on the back feet. And while this bench is great, where it really sets itself apart is the attachments. And another cool thing you'll see is you have the angle numbers on here, but also it will tell you where to set the angle to attach the different attachments. So no guessing, no having to remember anything like that. So if I'm gonna put on the dip handle, put it right there on the dip setting, grab the dip bar. Another cool thing you'll notice is this little captive pop pin. You pull it out, give it a little twist, it stays out. You don't have to like use one hand to try to hold it out, and then the other hand to try to put the attachment on there. You pop the pin out, it stays. You put your attachment on there. Boom, we're good to go. Give a little quick tighten down, and hey, we are off to the races. The back support also acts as a little bit of a footstep right here, so you can raise yourself up for when you're doing your dips, and then boom, there you go. Not much to say about the dip handle. I mean, it feels pretty sturdy. It's a dip handle. It works. Moving on. Pop, pop, slide. Next up, we have the leg roller. Again, pretty standard. You can slot this in 2 ways. You can put it in flat mode and put it in upright like this to hold your feet for Nordic curls. And then you can flip it this way to use for your standard leg developer exercises for your decline bench, decline abs, that sort of thing. Boom, slot it in there. You can tighten it down. Now, what I do want to point out about this is, one, this is really high quality. If I grab the Rep leg roller over here, you can see that this is much more stable than that. It has thicker padding, has more comfortable padding, and it has a nice high quality vinyl versus this little, I guess, neoprene or polyurethane solid pad, whatever this is. So all the way around, this leg roller is better. And if you take a look at this, you might notice a nifty little feature that is just so obvious, somehow never thought about it before, and apparently nobody else has either. They put a little handle on here, so you can more easily get yourself in and out, which is something that I don't think I've ever seen before. Simple, genius. But if we hop in here, I mean, of course you can set it at whatever angle that you desire. Then you can hook yourself in, and then you can do your decline sit-ups. You can do your decline bench work, whatever you want to do. And boom, a little twist, little pop, and we're good. Now, this is the real star of the show, the leg developer. So if I roll this over here for a moment, put it down on the leg developer angle, and then you grab the leg developer, it's on wheels. All you have to do is roll it over here. You roll it right in to the dock, boom, boom, give it a little twist, tighten it down, and there we go. This is gonna give you access to do 3 additional exercises. You can do lying leg curls, you can do leg extensions, And then you also can pull this part out and it will let you do belt squats. And a cool thing is, specifically for the leg extensions and the leg curls, you can see there's a cable on here. So you have cable or plate loaded options. Now I feel like most people are gonna be using this plate loaded just because not everybody has a cable tower available that they can hook up to. The first thing that stuck out to me is that with other leg attachments for benches and other machines, most of the time the thigh pad here is just gonna be another roller pad, including the Hyper Pro's leg developer. It also uses a round pad, but on this one, they actually decided to go with a flat pad with a rounded edge. So this feels a whole lot more like a commercial piece of equipment. And so you just hop on here and then you're off to the races. And with this one, you do not have to take off the leg curl attachment to be able to do leg extensions, because with some other models of similar machines, including the attachment for the Hyper Pro, this would come back and wallop you right in the chest, which I actually have this extended right now. It can collapse down more. And you can see that it's not going to hit me. And you'll also notice you don't have to take the belt squat attachment off to be able to do leg extension leg curls, which is also another super cool design idea. I will say this feels very stable in plate loaded mode. I have tested this with 5 plates on leg extensions, albeit with not very good form. And even with 5 plates coming off the end, super stable, no hint that it was flexing or coming off the ground or anything like that. The strength curve feels pretty good on it, but due to the fact that, hey, this is a plate loaded machine and you have to move about a pivot point, it's not perfectly even, and you can tell that at the very bottom of the leg extension, you lose just a little bit of tension, and then so that's opposite when you're doing the leg curls, because then when you come up close to the weight being vertically stacked, you lose just a little bit of tension at the very top, but it's pretty smooth. It's not like some machines where you just lose all tension at the bottom. That said, if you're using the cable version, you're golden. This is another place where there's gonna be a change. It's easier to attach this without having to move as many parts when switching into cable mode with the full production model. So you just, in this model, slap this little pin and you're good to go. I have the GetRx 3 Tornado Rack, so that's what I'll be using. I just lock this down to the lowest setting, and then I will attach the cable on here, swing this away, and then we are good to go. And now we have a leg extension leg curl machine that feels just like what you would expect to feel at the gym. Speaking of leg extensions versus leg curls are significantly harder for whatever reason, not in a the machine's binding or it doesn't feel smooth kind of way. It just feels a lot heavier for whatever reason. Doing leg extensions, I did a set of 10 with 180 pounds, and then for leg curls, for a set of 10, I could only do 55 pounds. So quite a bit of a difference. And then in cable mode, I could do the full stack on my GetRx RX3, which is 105 pounds for leg extensions. And then for leg curls, I could only do 30 pounds. Again, quite a bit of a difference. And then when you want to put this away, you pop this loose, give it a little bit of slack so you can detach it a little bit easier. And since I'm always using it in cable mode, what I like to do is just wrap it around the weight horn, and then I clip it to the eyelet for the belt squat. But since we're gonna be doing belt squat next, let me get the cable out of the way. So we'll detach that, put the pin back in, and then we'll pull this out. And getting into the belt squat mode is actually really simple. All you have to do, pull this pin, slide that down, tighten it down nice and secure, flip out this kickstand, boom. And now you are in belt squat mode. Let me move this so I don't give myself an accidental medical exam when I squat down. And then all you have to do, put this on like any other belt squat, flip yourself in, and you are off to the races with belt squats. You can hit this little boom to flip the kickstand out of the way, and you can use this as a handle if you would like. All you have to do is preferably before you load weight onto yourself. Slot that in, pull it all the way to its extended mode, and then you can use this as a handle during belt squats. But personally, what I like to do is just either rest my hands on the horn or hold on to the plates themselves. When you're done, flip that back down. There you go. And unclip yourself. And the ABX also feels extremely sturdy when doing belt squats. I loaded this up all the way with as many 45s as I could put on there, which by the way, is only gonna be 4 or 5 plates depending on how thick your plates are. If you're using bumper plates, you're probably only gonna be able to get 3 plates on there. So do keep that in mind as far as how strong you are and if that is gonna be enough of a challenge for you. Me personally, I loaded it to the max, which I think was 5 plates for me, if I remember correctly, and I was doing sets of 10 relatively easily. Now, to use a reference gauge to see if that's gonna be a challenge for you or if that's gonna be enough for you, my best 1RM for barbell squats is 485 pounds. Use that as a gauge. But with it max capacity, I noticed no issues with stability. It didn't feel like it was wanting to move or anything like that. And then actually one thing that I discovered that I kind of like to do with the belt squat is I kind of like to lean away and use it like it's a pendulum squat. And then even max weight and leaning away to use it as a pendulum squat, which is probably not the intended use, it did not move even an inch. And then when you're done, it stores away pretty easily. Pick it up, boom. Yours won't hit. That's another issue that's being fixed. Pull this pin, slide it back in, and you're good to go. And like I said, for me, when I'm storing it, I like to leave the cable attached because I'm always using it in cable mode because I primarily use this for leg extensions and leg curls. I like to wrap it around here, flip it on, and then storing it is very easy. Pop the pin, loosen it up. You can make that a little bit more compact. And then it comes right out and we roll it away. Now, on the topic of storage, it is important to note there is no official storage device for this. However, it does stack together pretty neatly though. So you just flip this to where the handle's down, set it on the end, take the dip bar, flip it upside down, put it on top. It does stack together all nice and neatly, but if you're using the leg developer, you'll just have to be okay with setting these 2 attachments on the ground. And one more note about storage. This thing is safe if you have toddlers in the house like I do. You don't have to be concerned with that. I have purposely ran into this many times just to see if it was gonna fall over. And I mean, I guess if I really wanted to, I could knock it down, but you can see not really doing it any favors. It's not gonna fall over. A few other rapid fire notes that I haven't mentioned yet is the color scheme is gonna change a little bit because this initial black on black that they've gone with, it's kind of hard to read the numbers on here. They're gonna be using lighter accent colors right here. I don't know exactly what they've landed on, but I do know that they're gonna use lighter accent colors for these 2 pieces here so that it is easier to read this and adds a little bit of a color pop. And then there's gonna be a Freak Athlete logo right here. And they're also gonna be using a more premium powder coat versus the pre-production model that I have. And that brings me to something that I've publicly said here on the channel multiple times at this point. Freak Athlete is probably the company that I'm most excited about when it comes to the home gym space because they take feedback very seriously and they iterate like crazy. While this pre-production model was already really good, they've taken feedback and they've made like 10 or 15 changes just in the last couple of weeks since they've sent me this pre-production model. So while I did have originally a few negative points that I was gonna bring up in this first impressions review, I don't have those things to bring up anymore because they are already changing them. So I don't really have anything left negative to say. And by the way, Freak Athlete does have some other really awesome products that are coming down the line. I can't tell you what those are quite yet. So if you want to see those products before they come out, make sure to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss those videos. And that brings me to the price. The Freak Athlete ABX is gonna be launching at $599, which for the premium bench market, that puts it right at average or maybe just a little bit above average. But here's the thing, most of the other premium benches either don't have attachments or they have attachments, but they're not quite to the same level of quality as the bench itself. And that's why whenever the full production model comes out, it is going to be my new main bench here in the garage. And I will even go a step further to say that this pre-production model is already good enough that it's going to be the main bench in the upstairs gym. Surprise, Tracy, this is your bench. And again, if you're watching this video, that means the pre-order is up for this bench. So if you want to check it out, click the link down in the description. As always, God bless you and your family, and we'll see you in the next video.